My name's Felice Groden, and I'm from Miami Beach, Florida. I grew up wanting to be an artist, funny enough, but I really was very precise and very specific, so I thought, architecture seemed more sort of logical. I've moved around a lot. I was born in Italy, but let's say I've lived in New York, I've lived in San Francisco, I've lived in Boston, I've lived in Miami, and I've lived in, where else? New Orleans. I moved here actually right after 2001 from New York, so pretty much started art then. So I created a body of work basically from say 2002 to say 2005-06. And at that point I really started to become a professional artist, started to show my work in other venues in Miami. I basically went to the Arts Center on Lincoln Road, the South Florida Arts Center, met a lot of really cool people, and it just so happens that there's this great art community. And I just met some really great people and said, you know what, I want to do this. I just want to start to explore all these things that I couldn't in New York because I was working more or less as an architect. After the World Trade fell and other buildings, for me psychologically, it kind of left us all open to this kind of vulnerable state. And I felt that I wanted to explore that. I wanted to question, what is architecture? What is vulnerability? Is there a way to capture that in art somehow? And so that's what I ended up doing. I feel lucky that I actually came down when I did, because I came down at a time when it was really just started to feel like something. I think that there's no question that the city, whether it's the physical kind of attributes of nature, or the cultural attributes, I think definitely have an effect. I mean, a lot of artists really deal a lot with the natural environment. I mean, whether it's, the Everglades or whether it's, obviously the water. I mean, Miami is just a really interesting place. There's so many examples, but I think all in all, I would say, I'd stress that I think the community is really interesting, the actual art community. I think it's interesting because it's not so huge, first of all. It's very easy to get to know people. So I think it's accessible on a certain level. I think that it's culturally right now become very interesting. I mean, there's a lot of cultural institutions. I know that there's going to be a new building for the Miami Art Museum. They're building the New World Symphony building, a Gehry building on South Beach. So even architecturally, I think it's really transforming in this beautiful way. And even the old stuff is beautiful. So I think that it's just growing. I mean, it's a young city, I think, and so that's why it's interesting to be here at this time.
Up next, more with Kipling Cronkite.
We're in the lobby of the W Hotel right now. There's a performance piece actually going on right there. No idea what it's about, but there's a lot of energy here in the new W. So right now we're going to walk outside to the White Wall dinner that's out on the lawn, actually. White Wall magazine is a publication that was, the publisher's Michael Klug, and they cover all the up-and-coming things in the art world, really from the contemporary scene. It's an oversized magazine that's beautifully done. If you've never seen it, I definitely encourage you to get a copy of it. So, Michael, tell me, are you excited to be in South Beach this year for Art Basel?
I'm always excited, and we're here tonight to celebrate the launching of the winter issue with Dennis Hopper on the cover.
Beautiful.
And basically, I would say that this year Art Basel Miami is very strong. It's very more
stronger than last year.
I would say, yeah.
Stronger in what sense?
I would say that people are more here to look at the art and less for events, even if we're here in an event.
Yeah.
And I would say that the economy now makes people more confident about the art market.
It's nice, right? I like all the wood.
I do too.
I think it's pretty.
I just arrived at Nikki Beach and I got my table. Anxious to meet, go see my friends, sit down, check out the show. It's the first time the box is actually performed out of New York in Miami. This is the second night of the show. Kipling Art Foundation is hosting it with White Wall Magazine, so I'm gonna go check this out.
liked it better than
I like
Fox
it better
in
than
New York.
me too. Totally better.
I mean, it was so tasteful and
Yeah.
but fun.
Yeah. So last night, where it was, we started the evening with champagne, and we ended up beer and partying. And tonight it was really going out to support friends, and then at the end of the night, friends coming to support me. So that was really nice. So I'm anxious to see what tomorrow's going to be like, and hopefully it's going to be a bright sunny day where I'll have a nice glowing suntan for you tomorrow. So that would be nice.
This is Carolyn Z. Next up, a profile of Rochi Laneza.
My name is Rochi Laneza, and I'm an artist, but also I run a hardcore contemporary art space in the Wynwood Art District. My work has always been very domestic, and whatever happens in my environment is what influences me. So being around after sending a child to high school and having a newborn, that brought me back to the house. This whole thing came about how to preserve certain memories and how some things are eternal. And so growing up next to the mines in Santiago, which is where I grew up in Santiago in the Dominican Republic, and being surrounded by amber all the time, and how amber, the association of amber as something that preserves, I united both things, and that's how this came about. Well, this series is basically a fusion of two things. I have a 26-year-old right now, and I have an 11-year-old, and I found myself watching cartoons for too many years, and the substitution of these cartoon characters in our kids' lives. I mean, they have become our kids' idols or saints, or they are more important than what saints were to the Latin American culture, for example. SpongeBob, I mean, he's huge. I think that the environment definitely influences artists. I don't see how any artist cannot be. It can either be nostalgia or actual influence. An artist sees life in a different way. Miami has become one of the most important places for art. And I think that the local artists have to compete with a lot of international, because we have so many international galleries in the area. It's a very competitive field. Miami it's such a melting pot that Miami's just a different city. It's like Latin America and the United States, because we have so many cultures, and you can be inspired by so many things.
Stay right there. There's more Art Basel to come on the Beach Channel.